The Amateur Television Net is on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Catch up with the latest ATV news. See the latest television projects, shack layouts and much more. A good time to ask questions about amateur television. We use local 2-meter liaison frequency FM simplex 147.400 MHz and Berwick repeater 439.375 MHz. Every Tuesday starting 8 p.m.
Good evening and welcome to television.
Good evening and festive greetings for the festive part of the year. 171 nets according to my count, subject to an official audit from Mount View. So yes, this evening we've got a few check-ins. The running order for those who are who have noted. Watching is Bob, VK3BVR. I haven't noticed any other watches yet. I could have missed some. And the run order so far is starting with myself as guest net controller. Neil is away. He's got a prior engagement this evening. And I've stepped into the big shoes and trying to fill them. So, and the next cab off the rank is Mick, VK3CH, then over to RTV1, Peter, VK3BFG, and Richard, VK3VRS, then via SRT, John, VK2ATU, and Gary, VK2 CSJ, and then perhaps if Gary could pass it back to myself on RTV2, that'll be great. And that's the story so far, subject to change as always. All right, well, just to start off the festive season, I thought I might just run the singing reindeer.
It's the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Glory now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Go the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell the Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Pass away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new year lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather.
Right. I actually had a different clip last year from them, so I thought one of my crew members from the TV station was out and about on the weekend and took that segment, so that was, I thought that was appropriate. Anyway, perhaps I'll pass it over to you, Mick, VK3CH, if you'd like to start rolling, and I'll give you a end of transmission, K, and C, and Q, then I'll have a QSL card and I'll drop carrier. All right, Mick, go to VK3CH.
Yes, and good evening everyone. And I think I can hear a video there. Always got to turn it up a little bit. Yes, it's there. Okay, alright. I did have a video queued up, but I'm not sure if it's the right one. I'll play this one. Doesn't matter. One's about my 10 gig dishes, and one, I think I was telling you last week that we're getting some trees removed in the backyard because they had some sort of critters eating the insides of them out, white ants or something. So I'll just see if this is the right video, but if it's not, it's about my 10 gig dishes. Here we go. Okay, so here we are back on the east deck. And without getting clobbered. So yeah, we've still got the views to VK3RGL until these decide to grow. But anyway, see from the aerial, there's the view. If I just sort of take that around in front, clear view to Mount View. Well, apart from their tree further away, but I don't really think that's going to affect it. And if we come back to here, there's the view, very opened up. So that's going to take some getting used to. I thought she was going to get the trunks ground out, but they're just staying. So anyway, there's the job. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, no more trees in front of the direction towards Mount View, so the backyard looks very different when you stand in the kitchen.
I think it was ZAQ, but acknowledge if that's correct.
Yep. So I think I was getting into the repeater okay, but coming back and receive, my TV would flicker a bit. So I think it's fixed up the flickering. It's behaving a lot better. So that might be something to do with it. I think when the trees get a bit of moisture in it. I do have another video. I'll show you this first. That will make the video more sense. This has arrived in the post. A 5-band dish feed. We can put it without the lighting reflected. So that's good for 23 centimetres, 2.4, 3.4, 5.7 and 10 gigs, and we'll be putting that on this dish. So if I put this across, and I'll show you this. Okay, these are the two television transmitting dishes. So this one here is the transmitter on 10.41 gigahertz. As you can see, that sends out 8 watts. So what I was thinking is doing is leaving this one alone. But what I will do, the receive one I've got here, I might take out that ring feed and replace it with a 5-band ring feed, and I'll keep this dish because I do remember it was a bit of a job putting all the fly wire in. There's 3 lots of fly wire just to give it a bit of strength, and all the pop rivets and things. So I'm thinking about putting a 5-band feed in for 23 centimetres, 2.4 gig, 5.7 gig and 10 gigahertz. So we're thinking about that. So that might happen in about the next couple of months. Yes, and well, it's not going to be a couple of months. It's turned up in the post, so that'll be happening. A couple of other things we've got. I'll swap over to here. We got some printed circuit board antennas, so these are good for about 1 gig up to, well, not quite 1 gig, but up to 6. So that would do 2.4 and 3.4 and 5.7.
So I've watched what a couple of the guys do use on the microwave field days, and depending on your distance, they'll certainly work. I did get one of these 3.4 gigahertz as opposed to 2.4, and it's very handy that it's got the round feed so that I won't pick up the wrong one by accident when I chuck it in the car. I know the normal one's 2.4 and the round one's 3.4, but I've labelled them appropriately. What else have we got? There's the specifications on the ring feed. I've actually seen people use ring feeds just as raw antennas, not using a dish, just having them on the end of a stick, an insulated stick of course, and just transmitting out of the ring feed. So I suppose at close range, anything's possible. Now, okay, no, there we go. So there's the little ring bracket to hold it in place, and that's the same kind of dish that I used, the 1 metre one that I did get from RF Ham Design yonks ago. So everything should be compatible, and they do give you customised plots of the dish. So that one's on the voice frequency on 23 SEMS. Same there, the main narrowband voice frequency on 2.4, and likewise on 3.4 and 5.7. And on 10 gigs, what I really like is the marker number 1 is good for SSB voice, and marker 2 is my 10.41, so I can still receive with television. So it's got a good enough coverage. So while I'm taking out that 10.41 gig feed, this one will still cover it. So we can still use it for television use. And that's just what we showed you tonight. And I think that's all. Yeah, a bit about the Ballarat Hamvention. So that's coming up. I've actually asked for a table now. So one table I wasn't going, but I've decided I'll go. So, yep. One table should do. Alright, that's enough from there. Probably a lot longer than what I was intended, but okay, I'll put it back to Ian and it's going across to those waiting on one. So that's all for me tonight. Catch us later.
Would you like to take it?
We finally got there. I'd just like a bit of feedback on the audio. I suspect it's just a little bit low, but I can't do anything about it. Okay, look, I'm on my... yeah, it's a bit hard to do it right now. We'll have to just talk very close to the microphone and do the best we can, because we'll be moving across to another microphone shortly. I'm on a new Sony Handycam, about $300 worth, but amazing quality out of it. It's really HD stuff. So it's excellent, $300. But unfortunately, for some reason or other, Sony decided they won't pipe the audio out the HDMI port. So hence I'm on an external microphone just for tonight. and Joe TET identified a little radio dongle that we've both ordered, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to just have a little clip microphone and a little dongle on the A10 Mini, and I won't have to have the boom mic, and it's fairly low level. Last week I forgot to mention that there's a first contact on 6 metres about a week and a bit ago between myself and Dennis, VK3YLH on 52.25 megahertz, and those signals were all locked up and looked great. We're using mini tuners for the receivers, and I was using ports down into a not into a line, into the other one. Can't think of his name now. There we are, Bob. I'm having a senior's moment, but never mind. If you know the one I mean. The other one. Anyway, it works fine. So that was my exciter, and then I put that into a Mitsubishi module. And I'm not sure what Dennis was running, but his pick was very good and locked up, and the quality looked pretty good. In fact, very, very good. So there we are. This first contact on 6 metres. We've yet to have a DX contact with Roger, but hopefully that might come up over the Christmas period sometime, which would be really good, and perhaps others can get on 52 megs. We've been allocated by the WIA on a trial basis 52 to 52.5. We can't go below 52 because at the moment there's an embargo on 50 to 52 megs as far as wideband operations is concerned. Amazingly, it's still classified as commercial TV. Of course, no commercial TV is ever going to go back down there on 50 megs. But it's still, that's still standard, and the WA are in discussions with the ACA about that. But at the moment, we've got 52 to 52.5, so that means we've got a centre frequency of 52.25 at the moment, and we may be able to move down a bit lower and a bit wider, perhaps a little bit later. But we're using 333 kilosymbols per second, and yeah, it looks great. So first experiment there, and more to come. Okay, I've got a bit of show and tell on the bench there, and I'm going to move over to the other camera, and to do that I'm going to have to move in front of the camera, which is not very good. I don't have all the nice controls in front of me like Ian has. All of my controls are over there. So bear with me, and we'll just change cameras, and the audio should be a lot better. Okay, yeah, I can see the audio's up there very nicely with this camera. We'll just move the boom mic out of the way. Hopefully we won't have that next week. We'll have a little lapel mic, which will work a whole lot better. Now that little Sony cam is, for $300, is pretty good value, really. That's for sure. Okay, we've got some stuff on the bench here. So I thought I might just run through what we've got. I have to watch feedback to see that we're doing okay. All right, that's a work in progress, obviously. You can see there are bits and pieces there. There's a mixer, and there's a local oscillator, and there's actually a little gain block there, and a 5-volt regulator. Unfortunately, the mixer's got about a 5 dB loss. It is an active mixer, but unfortunately 5 dB loss. So I've ordered another one, not that type, the type we usually use actually. So that's in the mail, but this is a down converter for 1255T, and I'm going to include that little gain block, which is just here. You can see that it's very small, and it just fits on SMA connectors quite well.
So I'll put that on the low frequency end of the system before it goes to the domestic tuner. We'll just see what happens. If we get a black screen or anything like that, well, I can easily just bypass it. So we got that one, and just here, some of you will recognise this one. Very strange shape. I'm not quite sure why they decided to make receivers this shape, but this is a PACE receiver. It's an analogue one, and the guys in the West have been pestering me a bit, as they always do anyway, but I'll just get this in view. There we go, yep. There's the back of it. Unfortunately, the other analogue receiver that I kept didn't work. I'm hopeful that this one will. It was a pretty good satellite receiver. So I'm going to set this up on 1283 FM, and we'll just go up and have a look at what signals are like coming through. But given Gary's figures of requirements, I'm not very confident that it's going to work. But we'll give it a try. So that's that one. And then further to my 6-metre experiment, it's a little module that arrived in the mail, and it's basically a HF PA, and there's a 60-watt FET in there, and it goes to 54 megs. So I haven't actually fired it up in anger yet, but we'll try that one out, and that will give me a bit more grunt on 6 metres, hopefully. So there we are, bit of show and tell tonight, and hopefully we'll get the audio sorted out with a lapel mic. But it was a shock in one sense. I started using the little Sony. I thought, this is great. What a great little camera. The zoom is something to believe on it, and the resolution is really, really good. But unfortunately, no audio. And I rang Ted's camera shop where the thing came from. Well, it was actually Ted's online, but I rang the local shop, and they said, yeah, all the new Handycams don't have audio down the HDMI port. I think the $1,000 one does, but the $300 ones don't for some reason or other. So there we are. Anyway, Richard, that's it for me. If you start running your transmitter now. By the way, I'm running 1 watt on all T and S. That's my contribution to non-interference with the RNS system. I don't think we're going to interfere with it anyway. We've been operating for quite some time. But that's what I've done. I don't need a huge amounts of power to get to Mount View. Matter of fact, 100 milliwatts would probably do me. Okay, well, that's it for me. More on 6 metres as we develop that one. And when I get to setting up the analogue receiver there, it'll be interesting to see what we actually do see. But I'm not sure whether Gary's coming up tonight, but he mentioned some figures that were required for signal to noise ratio for analogue, and I'm very nervous about that. Anyway, over to you, Richard. VK3VRS. This is VK3BFG.
Here we go. Well, Christmas time, so we might as well have a Christmas bit of a theme. Haven't got any video tonight, but I do have a bit of a show and tell. So first cab off the rank, not ATV related, but I think everyone knows what that is. You can't see the screen. Isn't that funny? Oh yeah, look, there you go. There's the screen. So, yeah. Basically all I've done is programmed in the repeater on that. Haven't had a chance to do anything else. But it arrived in like 4 days from China. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe how quick it was. Wasn't expecting it to arrive until after Christmas, to be honest. So it was a bit of a surprise, and it was like $25. And I bought a programming cable as well, and that was like $7 or something. So I'll have a bit of fun with that later on. Very good with the $300 camera. But I bought this one second hand, which is quite some time ago, and I got it for $70, so second hand, and it's one I've been using for quite some time. So there are bargains to be found. Was in a cash converters in Croydon, or a second hand shop in Croydon. One that I used to know. I knew the guy who owned it when I had a shop in Main Street as well, in Croydon. So yeah, that was all good. Alright, other bits of show and tell. Here's another one. So, you'll probably see that it's just a standard def. But it is DVB-T, and when I get a chance I'll get the other bits and pieces, and I'll probably pull this out of the case and build it into a case ready to go, so I can do DVB-T as well. Got to join the craze. Again, that was on Facebook Marketplace and got that for $5, so can't really complain about that. It was, I literally handed him 3 gold coins, and he put it on a spec analyzer for me, and I could see a beautiful crystal clear Bart's head. It was great, so I thought, yep, no problems there. So the other bits and pieces will obviously come after Christmas. Mick, good to see that you're all good to go. That feed that the 5 input feed, Mark and I have been eyeing that off too. For a little while now, we've been talking about it. Mark, JMA, and I, we've been looking at that and making plans. But yeah, it's going to be a little while off before I can. He'll probably end up with one before me, but I've got some catching up to do with him. Yeah, got something else, and this directly goes to what Peter's talking about, and having an FM input into the ATV repeater. I'll be very much looking forward to it. I don't know if anyone recognises that microphone, what it's attached to. I'm pretty sure there'll be a couple of people that might recognise it, just in case you weren't sure. It's connected to that bad boy, and as you can see, it's active. It's a real one. So yeah, we can go and play. Yeah, haven't got the extra module, so that one won't fire up, but I can do that. And of course, we'll be able to go FM on there too. So anyone wondering, I've got it connected to the my network, home network, And as you can see, I'm not using the official ICOM cable. And I tested before I tried it, as in tested the cable to make sure that it would work. Sorry, disappearing. There's the ICOM cable. The only difference is it's got a ferrite bead, so all I have to do is put a ferrite bead into a standard Ethernet cable and that'll work. Now, the reason why I wanted to show that is so if people just wanted to make their own cables, they can. It'll work. It's just a straight through cable, so no problems whatsoever. That's a patch lead that you buy, and it works, so there's no problems there. So I'm looking forward to playing around. Got a few plans on how we're going to work out how we're going to be able to take the 905 portable and also use it as a home base as well. So our group out here in the southeast are keen to experiment on 1.2 and above, so we'll be playing with that. Clint will be joining us on 1.2, and maybe in the distant future he might join us with 2.4 and 5.8 as well, so that'll be quite good. Anyway, that's all I've got for tonight, so short and sweet, but a little bit of a show and tell, so a few little toys to play with. I won't be around next week, being Boxing Day, but I've decided even though I've just put the shack back together, I'm going to rearrange things again, just to get a bit more better layout. At the moment I can't transmit on HF without causing great discomfort to my audio system, so that's told me that I need to change things around a little bit, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So, and plus I need to run some more coax and I need to run some Ethernet outside, and well, what my plan is I'm going to use the standard ICOM for the outside portion to the box, and then that will come in, and then I'll join it with a standard Ethernet cable, which will then come into the shack, and that'll be my permanent setup. When I'm portable, probably 5 meters or at the... Oh, am I back? Yeah, looks like I'm back. Yeah, so anyway, that's it. I'm going to hand it over to Clint, so if you want to start transmitting now, Clint, I'll drop off, and yeah, it'll be all good, and I can take that away, take me away. Ooh, yep, I can take me away, and I'll just hand over to you, Clint. I'll go to test pattern, and then see you all around.
Righto, Mr. Brash.
Righto, Mr. Brash.
Sorry about that. I had to do the standard reset of the system, and I was ready to go as soon as you said to start transmitting, Richard. That's exactly what I did. But there it is. I had to do the master reset for it all to work. Anyway, a very pleasant good evening to everybody. I'm not sure exactly who's on frequency. I turned everything on mid when Mick was presenting his little log antenna. Really impressive, those little PCB boards, aren't they, Mick? I think I've got a whole range of those covering the entire spectrum, just about, or at least from I don't know, I think it kicks off at around 800 megs up. And anyway, but I thought I'd just come in here. I've got no show and tell. Where's the camera? I'm sort of confused at the moment with. I was very quickly setting up the secondary camera, and yes. So actually, that's not very good because the camera's focused on the fly wire screen, and so the image outside the window is not very good. Yeah, okay. You can't really tell because it's bloody camera's focused on the fly wire screen. At least what I was going to try and show you is right over there in the distance. Because this is a USB camera, I can't zoom in on that. But in the centre of the image is the 3-metre dome and the deck in the background. See if I can bring it a bit closer to the glass. Yeah, that's brought it more into focus. There we go. So I'm pressing the camera against the flywire screen and the window just to get the thing to focus in the foreground there. Yeah, so you can see the 3-metre dome and the 3.6 by 3.6 metre deck. Now, I had, I think I mentioned this last week, didn't I? Yeah, okay, maybe I don't need to repeat it. But I'm waiting for the deck's not level enough for the dome to operate properly. So I've got the guy coming out hopefully this Saturday to try and level out the deck, and so we can get that dome installed, and I can start installing the telescope and start doing astronomy and all that sort of stuff. Quick view of the HF antenna system there. It's Tower 1 and Tower 2 is just there. Oh, what's that little bright object there in the view? Let me just have a quick look out the window. Oh, it's the moon. So that's up through the TE57 HF beam. That's a TE57 which covers, there's 2 elements on WARC and 3 elements on the standard HF bands. It's a big antenna. Oh, now we're focused on the flywire screen again. So, oh, what's that bright object? Oh, don't know. Anyway, all right. Just experimenting with the camera. Not experimenting, I know it works. But nevertheless, back to the studio camera. So yeah, I'm hoping that in the next 2 weeks we'll have this dome finally up and running, and then I can connect. Hopefully, I'll be able to connect a video camera and run video footage to RTV repeater. Well, I don't know how in real time it'll be, but at least I'll be able to show you how things are working. Very interesting, Pete, on the system there that you're showing. And on the 6-metre attempts, congratulations, Dennis and Peter, for that. That's got to be that's the first, isn't it, in all of Australia, or has Roger already beaten us to that? I don't know whether Roger. I think it's Roger. VK3RTV, triple Y. I don't know whether he's actually established comms on 6 to ATV yet or not, or whether he's just been waiting for us to get our act together. But anyway, good stuff, Pete. And Dennis, good on you, mate. So that's that's fantastic news, and I'm looking forward to getting onto 6 metres myself. So I'm going to have to investigate what you guys are up to and see if I can get the necessary bits and pieces together to get 6 metres up and running too. That'll be quite interesting stuff. Good, relatively good digital pics on 6 metres across the country. It sounds absolutely cool. Just wait until we get our own satellite geostationary parked overhead. I wonder if that'll ever happen. This Friday is the last ASV radio broadcast for those that do happen to listen and watch me on Friday nights. I'm final for the year, that is to say. I'm taking a 4-week sabbatical, and I go back to work on the 15th of Jan, so that's the same week I'll come back with ASV radio broadcast on Friday nights. So Friday nights will be free of activity for at least 4 Fridays worth. I am planning on moving the shack. All what you see behind me is going to go downstairs. That's the intention, at least at this stage. But at the moment, the area downstairs I'm trying to clear out. It's usually my little repair workshop junk area, and I've moved most of that into the lounge room, if you can call it a lounge room. But most of that's come out of it into the lounge room area, so I can sort of start with a clean slate, so to speak. So I am hoping to get that all sorted out over the next few weeks, plus a little bit of antenna maintenance and stuff. At least I'm hoping. But at the moment I've been having great fun cutting grass. So I haven't cut the grass around here since Melbourne Cup weekend, because I came down with COVID. They put an end to any physical activity, and the grass has just taken off. It's the thickest grass that I've had to cut through on an acre and a quarter size property, 5,500 square metres. It's mostly lawn, and yes, you might think, well, why don't you use a ride-on mower? Well, we do have a ride-on mower, but it's just not effective on the kind of property that we have here. So I'm happy to do the lawns with the grass, cutting the grass. It's the only physical exercise I get these days. But it does take up to 2.5, 3 hours on grass that doesn't have to be, forcibly cut. If it's not too bad, then it doesn't take too long to do, but it is still a big job. Anyway, that's another story. But the last thing I want to say really is a Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas to everybody on the Visions side of the repeater here, and particularly to Peter and Phil and all the team, all of us that keep this repeater active and going one way or another. And as Peter says, we really do need to kick up the activity side of things on this repeater, make it really work overtime on these 2 channels. Mick, I miss seeing the rabbits in your backyard, mate. You used to have the camera focused on all those barbecues and the little pet rabbit that you used to have. You used to have the camera going for hours on that. I miss that. So it doesn't have to be anything special. Just have the camera sticking out the window, looking over the city or something like that for a half an hour with a call sign on it. Anyway, but I'll still continue doing the WI broadcast, because that happens every week without fail. So I'll have an ATV station set up so that I can at least run the WI cast missions on Sundays, both morning and night time. So I'm hoping to do that downstairs. There's a lot of bright light on this side, isn't there? It's just because I've got one light on. There's a little circular light here, and I've got an incandescent light burning over here, which is reflecting up here. But this white light is predominantly coming from the fluorescent, and there's a fluorescent just above me, but I've got it turned off just to give a little bit of mood to the picture. Anyway, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope Christmas Day turns out to be a good one for you all. The weather should be nice, and of course all the best for the new year 2024. How quick this year has gone, it's just disgusting. It really is. I think that's about all I'm covering here at the moment. So I don't know who to put it to. Who do I put it across to?
Sister Gary, VK2, CSJ.
CRJ. CSJ gets around. Yes, I get around a bit. All right, start transmitting there, Gary, and it'll be a seamless transition from me to you, hopefully. So on that note, again, Merry Christmas. Take care of yourself, guys. We'll see you. I'll probably see you next Tuesday if there's any session that goes on. We're about to trip the transmitter. This is VK3 CSJ, Narre Warren South.
I'll pop over to me. Yeah, thanks, Clint. I was thinking, how am I going to follow you? I live on a postage stamp here. I was just working out approximately a tenth of the size of your property. Never mind, size isn't everything, or is it? Yeah. So it's good to see everybody on, and. Good, well done, Peter, on that 6 metre contact. And I was just going to, I'm not sure if you mentioned the Sony camera. Well, some while ago I bought a Sony camera. I don't know if it's the same one, but this is a very nice camera as well. And I found exactly the same issue. So when you've just got it sitting there in standby, which is what it does most of the time, no audio comes out on the HDMI. You only get the audio when you play back something that you've recorded, which the only reason I can think that they did that was to make sure that you didn't get any audio feedback when you were just monitoring the camera. But it's a nuisance, so yeah, I do have to do what you do, and I'm just mixing, if I'm using that camera, I mix in the audio from that camera. Or alternatively, I've got a microphone over there which is hooked up to the ATEM, and so I can talk into that microphone instead if I need to. That's interesting. I'm looking at my pictures that are coming back, and there seems to be a bit too much contrast on that. Never mind. It's sort of, there's a bit of white clipping going on there somewhere, because it's not clipping quite as much as that here, looking at the background. Anyway, I won't go on about that. I've actually been doing something unusually. I've been over to Bunnings and I've got myself a bit of metal, some of that used to called angle iron or Dexian, but it doesn't look like it's called that anymore. But anyway, I got some of that and got some Allen sections and did a bit of drilling. I'm making a bracket at the moment so I can put up a new antenna, which hasn't arrived yet, but it's in the post, and it'll be the first time in, I don't know, 15 years or so that I've put up any new antenna here. So I've made a very short video of it. Just so far you can't see the antenna, of course, but you can see the brackets, so that's why it's a short video. So we'll just run that. X5000 is on its way from Strictly Ham, so I've knocked up these brackets to put a 2 metre pole on. So there's one down there and one up there. That was a difficult one to get up, because you've got to try and hold it in the right spot and then do it up at the same time. It's a bit difficult. Now, of course, it's not very good mechanically, this. It needs a sort of an angle piece in it somewhere to stop these things coming down. It could be a long one from there to there maybe, but these are the longest bits of this galv that they've got, so we'll see how it goes. If it keeps on slipping down, I've done these bolts up as much as I can, then it'll have to get a brace on it.
came from the UK, and the clue as to what it was used for is that orange paint that's on there, which is the same paint that's on the 23 SEM antennas that used to be on my roof, and that used to have the VK3RTV TV repeater on it. So it's come in handy, that. It's just the right length. It's fairly lightweight, but it's some sort of steel, alloy or something, I don't know. Anyway, it must be strong. It was up on my roof for years. But there isn't much wind resistance on this antenna. It also only weighs 0.9 of a kilogram. Now, one important consideration is going to be, because it's next to that, I can't have it too high. I think it's 1.9 metres long. If it sticks up too far, I won't be able to rotate the antennas. But looking at comparing it from the ground, I think that goes up above 2 metres there from the roof, well, and a bit more. So hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, I'll just come down a bit. It's certainly less than 1.9 from there to there. I've got to consider that in the future the 70 SEM beam will come back down again a bit and turn horizontal, so it'll be a bit low and potentially in the way. We'll just have to see what it looks like when it's up there. Good enough. Just relying on brute force there, so I'm making a roughly 45-degree bracket to go on that, which is this. This is 3mm thick aluminium, which I've just drilled out, ready to fit on, along with a couple of bits of wood for padding. With a spirit level. I'm very lucky that there's enough space here between these glass bits or whatever they are to fit that in. Job done, hopefully. Notice it doesn't stick out too much on this side because you have to walk past there, but it can stick out more up there.
Yeah, so anyway, it's the first bit of outdoor mechanical stuff I've done here for a while. Hopefully it'll get here before Christmas. So I've been chasing up the couriers today, so I might have flowed at the beginning of the video. I ordered this Diamond X5000 from Strictly Ham down your way, and for some reason they didn't pick it up, so it's lucky I rang them up, so then they chased it at their end, and this time they've actually picked up the parcel and it should be on its way. So looking forward to seeing what that does. I'm hoping to get it up before Saturday, because it's 23 on 23, and VK2TDN will probably go up to top right again, and this time, with a bit of luck, he might get some TV pictures from me, but he uses a vertical antenna, so I thought, well, if I can get this thing up by Saturday, I can send a signal on 23 up to him vertical. And the X5000's got it says 11.7 dBi gain on 23 SEM, so it's a tri-band colinear, so it'll be quite useful antenna for 70 SEMs and 2 meters as well, although it won't outperform the Yargis that I've got up, but at least it's omnidirectional. Right, so yeah, let me put the Christmas decorations back up again, and yeah, have a great Christmas down there. We've just started to get the very heavy rain here that they've been sort of predicting all day. We're in for about a week of rain up here in Sydney now, and it starts today and it keeps going till Christmas. So, but we need the rain. The pool has gone right down due to evaporation, so I want it to get topped up again. Okay, so I'll put it over to John. Normally he's starting up his SRT all ready to go, so as soon as I go off it seems to just pick me up. So 7.3 for now.
Yeah, oh, why's my face so red? It's with the light. That's not right. Anyway, I'll do a bit more light. Yeah, okay, thanks Gary, and very good evening to everyone. Wow, there's a lot of ground covered tonight, a lot of ground, and Gary mentioned the storm. I heard the thunder just a little while ago, and I don't think they predicted any rain tonight, but it's coming in thick and fast. There. Yeah. On the big picture, it looks like it might have gone through Melbourne a few hours ago, or maybe this afternoon. Wow. Okay. Well, interesting that there's been a lot of talk about six metres, because 6 metres has been very active since Friday. Quite active, and up until 8 o'clock I was still receiving the beacon down in Devonport in Tasmania on 50057 quite clearly. It's been in the whole on and off the whole day, and I was hoping I might have got a turn a bit earlier and you could have heard it coming through, but anyway, it's the storm's probably turned it all off. But I worked on Friday. I worked a VK4 and a VK7. No, VK3 and a VK7. And then today I worked one VK4 and a couple of VK7s. So, and I only use a vertical antenna, homebrew coaxial collinear with 100 watts to it. And the fellow up in Queensland was running a vertical as well. So, yeah, it's Peter, you didn't mention what sort of distance that 6 metre video contact was. Maybe you could put it into the text box, or tell one of the guys to put it into the text box. I'd be interested to know. Yeah, and so coincidentally, I'm going to show a short video on sporadic E made by VK3FS. Andrew, he makes marvellous videos, and it's only a short one. I showed it last night to the guys. It's briefly explaining sporadic E, and he does say that it can stay in the whole day. It's reflections off ionised clouds. I'm sure you all know that, but I didn't know it could stay in a whole day, and that's probably why I've been hearing the beacon so long today, this particular one. And a very unusual thing happened this afternoon. I gave a call CQ on the sideband frequency 5110, and a chap came back to me, the northern part of Tasmania, but he was quite weak. He was only about a 5 and 4, but he said, let's QSY to the FM frequency, which is 52525. And I thought, well, I don't think that's going to work too well, but he suggested it, and we went over, and would you believe it was 5 and 9? How do you think of that? FM, 6 metres was 5 and 9, and sideband 1 minute before was about a 5 and 3, and presuming it was still running the same power. But it didn't stay 5 and 9 for long. We only were able to talk for a couple of minutes, and it just faded out. So yeah, so there we are. Okay, what else have I got there? Oh, you're talking about Clint. You had COVID. I had my sixth vaccination today. 6 of them. He mentioned it, that an analog ATV repeater that's been in storage for a number of years is going to be hopefully put into action by a club. I won't give any details at this stage, and we don't know how far down the track it'll be, but it was a analog repeater that was 70 sem in and 23 sems out, AM in and FM out. And it was upgraded with a Pi controller and all that about 4 or 5 years ago, and then taken out of service for a reason that I'll go into eventually. But anyway, yeah, and the proposed site will cover quite a large bit of territory, but we don't know any time frame or anything yet. So, all right. Okay, I'll run this video on sporadic E then.
Sporadic E is a type of radio propagation that occurs in the E layer of the ionosphere. The E layer extends from about 90 to 120 kilometres above the Earth's surface. Sporadic E propagation is characterised by sudden, short-lived bursts of enhanced ionisation, resulting in increased reflectivity of radio waves. These events may last just a few minutes to many hours, allowing radio communications over hundreds or even thousands of kilometres. ES propagation is most noticeable on 6 metres, and to a lesser extent on 2 metres and 70 centimetres. This 1,500 kilometre 2 metre contact between Victoria and Queensland is few and far between.
Roger, Roger, 5 and 9 into Mount Martha. Name's Andrew, 4OX, VK3, Fox Sierra.
When oxygen atoms in the E layer are ionised by soft X-rays from the sun, they lose electrons, forming electron clouds, which we call E-clouds. When a skyward radio wave reaches the ionosphere, the electric field in the wave forces the electrons in the cloud into a sympathetic oscillation at the same frequency as the radio wave. At this point, 2 things can happen. The radio wave is absorbed as heat and the signal is lost. Or, if certain conditions are met, the cloud of electrons can act more like a static reflector. In the latter, almost all of the radio energy is given up to the vibration. All the electrons vibrate in phase, and together they re-radiate the original wave energy back downward again. Thus, the wave skips off the E layer, hopefully to be received at some distant point. Sporadic E, as the name suggests, is unpredictable, and there are multiple causes that are still being pursued by researchers. Being in the right place at the right time is the key.
Why is that flashing? There we go. Yeah, okay. So all you wanted to know about sporadic E. It's started to pour down pretty hard here now. All right, and thanks very much to Andrew, VK3FS, Okay, so I guess I'll put it over to Ian. Yeah, Ian takes it. So, okay, all the very best for Christmas, guys. Cheers.
I'm running a new vMix preset. I'm running a new vMix. Don't know why the sound's going through on that one, but anyway, it is. And yeah, so I lost my presentation camera. All right, I might just kill that and see how that goes. All right, thanks, guys. We got a great turn up, and it was it's been good, and we're rolling along. I just want to acknowledge Nick, VK3BA, is watching on YouTube. Actually, there was 18 viewers on YouTube, and just looking at BATC. Oh, well, the BATC is really just the talkback chat. So there's also VK2DEK, Claudio I2NDT is watching in a rather cooler environment than we're all experiencing over here. So warm regards to you, Claudia, and trust the heating holds up in your location. VK3YWB is watching. I think that's from the Marsh, from memory. Someone's from the Marsh. Season's greetings from the Marsh. Anyway, yes. Oh, this has gone all strange, but anyway. All right. Yes, so that's the roll call, and also there's apologies from Roger VK5YYY. He's their repeater is back on the air, so and he's actually runs his own segment, his own show. Their segments go. There's less of them, I think, and they have one put on something like 30 minutes to an hour each evening, and Roger always has the Tuesday night, so that is where he's operating on at the moment, and wish him well. And in fact, you can always catch their transmissions off the BATC site, and yeah, so it's on every night, every weeknight, as far as I'm aware. All right. I've just got one thing that I might roll with, and I won't drag it on by commenting on all the very interesting topics that were covered. Neil will be back next week, so and the nets will be running next week under Neil's expert guidance. He's also a bit of a heads up, a teaser, if you like. He'll be demonstrating a less than $400 encoder modulator type arrangement, DVB-T. Setup that very economical, and with a few other little bits and pieces can put you on the air. So he'll be demonstrating that and how it all comes together. Very simple and straightforward. What else? I think Yeah, so I think that's all I had on that score. So I'll go a roll with this quiz. I haven't had a quiz. Well, I haven't been on for a while, so I haven't had a quiz for a while. So here you are. It's actually a new batch, another 30 packages. So I'm not going to run out anytime soon. Anyway, here's a quiz for you to test you out at just after 9 o'clock local time.
Did you know that a video edition of the WIA News broadcast is screened here, VK3RTV Channel 1 by Clint VK3CSJ, every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m, repeated Sunday evening at 8 p.m.
So yes, as Clint mentioned, he broadcasts the news on the ATV repeater every Sunday in the 10:30 and 8 o'clock in the evening. And just a reminder that his ASV broadcast will be going on the Friday night. The last one is this week, I believe, and he's having a bit of a break for the festive season, and it sounds like a lot of work to reorganise his shack. So look forward to catching him in the new year. So that's all I have. I'll do an outro with Lucy saying goodbye, and catch you soon at the net coming up. I think I'll be available next week, so it'd be good to catch up with Neil again as the net controller, and catch you all if you're available. All the best. Bye.